Many parents are invested in the idea that they need to limit screen time for their children. And while I think that this isn't a wrong idea, it's definitely coming from a good place because we know that we want our children to have exposure to a lot of different things in life, to learn how to be present, to participate in sports, to play with their friends, all of those things. And so some children have stricter rules imposed on them than others. Some children only get access after everything's done in the evening. Some children only get access on the weekends. Some children are able to earn screen time by completing things that they need to do. Some children have access to screens with almost every transition to help them in the waiting room, to help them be quiet in the car, to help them when mom is grocery shopping. Every family is different. And I want to propose to you that I don't think that limiting screen time is actually the whole answer. And the reason I say that is that the recommendations for screen time are 1 hour for preschoolers that are co-viewed with parents and include educational content. For children under the age of 6, 2 hours of screen time. And for children above the age of 6, screen time imbalance with everything else that the child is doing in life. Now, I ask you, as a child that's going to school and using a Chromebook every day, or a child that is supposed to log in to do 30 minutes of reading on the reading app so that their teacher can track it, or a child that's supposed to be using Google Drive so that the teacher can see that you edited, that you didn't just cut and paste things onto your paper and plagiarize someone else's work, or a child that doesn't really have a whole lot of friends, or whose mom maybe gets busy with dinner and you spend longer in front of a video game than you should, and it's hard to turn it off before you go to bed. There are a million reasons that kids are having more and more screen time, and the ability to stick to a 2-hour-a-day limit is actually very, very challenging, and becomes much more challenging as children get older and are expected to utilize technology more and more as a part of their education, when they're already doing it in their leisure time, or they're already going to Minecraft camps in the summer, or they're already, using mom's phone in the waiting room of the doctor. So how can we, instead of limiting screen time, rebalance the way that children are using their time throughout the day? And I'll give you a hint. It's not just the kids. It's definitely us as well. We are prone to checking our phones for one more thing, one more important phone call, one more email, one more text message with our friends to coordinate the next play date. So we're on our screens all the time as well. And we also don't know how to put that balance back in. So I want to challenge you to actually start by making a chart of how you and your child are spending your time throughout the day. Now, if your child's engaged in academics, then I want you to break that down into the amount of time that your child is utilizing a Chromebook in class versus the amount of time that they're spent engaging in kinesthetic and interactive learning games, for example. And this may just be a quick email to the teacher to try to gauge and start asking these questions. Some teachers will be using Chromebooks more than other teachers. Some teachers have tablets. Some teachers are using a lot of learning games. It really depends on the classroom that your child is in and the style of teaching that the teacher does. Also remind them that brain breaks and wiggle breaks that are played on a Promethean board or a smart board via video are still screen time opportunities within the classroom. Then in your home environment, do the same thing. During leisure activities, what types of things involve screens, and what do you have in place where the children are playing outside, playing with their toys, and not accessing screens at the same time? This, do you use screens at the dinner table? Do you bring your phone to the dinner table? Do you have screens allowed in the bedroom? Are you using e-readers instead of regular books? These are all questions that only you as a parent can find out the answers to, and take stock of how much screens are really integrated into your life. And then ask yourself, and for me and my child, what can I do to create more white space? What can I do to create opportunities where my child is fully present and showing up for an activity or a chore or a family routine? Because I'll tell you, it's very hard for kids to sustain focus and actively plan and sequence daily routines that they're supposed to be doing if everything on the screen is done for them and all they have to do is react. So they're not responding, they're not thinking any deeper, or they're just reacting and attending to the next thing. So we actually can't expect that when they're away from the screens that they're going to have sustained focus and attention, that they're going to be able to follow through with things without supporting and prompting, if we don't take stock of the day and then proactively plan times that involve activities where we're supposed to engage in deeper conversations, or activities where we are fully present doing something that is goal directed, like playing a board game, playing outside in the backyard and kicking the ball around, riding a bike down to a particular location and getting to the goal, turning around and coming back. All of those are different ways to engage your child in goal-directed activities that promote brain growth, development, working memory, and build the foundations for executive function skills that your child will need to not just survive, but to thrive in a world of technology.